I didn't take any entrepreneurial classes because I assumed that, once I got, out of MIT and proved myself and worked hard, that they would see me and say, oh, we want to hire you. But the reality was, when I was working for other agencies before I started my own, um, a white male with a high school education became my boss. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, at that point, I realized that for me to have the life that I want is not going to happen working for other people. So I needed to have my own company.
Are you a successful woman in leadership who's feeling unfulfilled in her career? Lately, you've been feeling disconnected and empty, and your job has you burnt out, stressed, and feeling uninspired. And you want more out of life, but you feel stuck and not sure how you should be making a bigger impact on the world. Well, I got a free gift for you. Go to queensformation.com/free gift and sign up for the free case study training where I give you the 4 steps you need to take to get in a position to have the power, confidence, and clarity to manifest your dreams, walk in purpose, and live a fulfilled life. Sign up today. Welcome to Becoming with Angelina Watkins, where we are turning dreamers into believers and doers through open and transparent stories and lives of those who have overcome adversity to walk in their purpose, achieve success, and live a fulfilled life on their terms. Candid conversations with men and women of all walks of life, giving us a fresh perspective and a blueprint to win at love, life, and money. And I'm your host, Angelina Watkins. And I have here today Zhe Scott, the technical marketing and CEO coach who is sought after digital marketing partner. And Z, I'm so glad to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me
Welcome.
on here.
Yes, I met you back in September. And
Yes.
when you agreed to be interviewed, I was ecstatic. So because your knowledge and expertise in technology is just amazing, and I know nothing, so I'm hoping I learned something today. But I wanted to, what really grabbed my attention about you was the fact that it said when I was reading up about you that you help people get more clients. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. It says you help people get more clients and revenue without paying for advertising. I
Yes, that's
was
right.
like, what? We gotta talk about this because in a
Yeah.
world of social media, where they are
Yep.
constantly telling us that you got to run ads, you got to run ads, you got to run ads, you got to get those Facebook ads, those Instagram ads, and you're saying no, you don't have to run ads. So I want to talk about that a little bit. But before we do, just kind of tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Well, my name is Zhe Scott. I am the CEO and founder of the digital marketing agency, the SEO Queen. I also go by the SEO Queen. So if you're familiar with Sade, Sade is the band and also Sade. So that's the situation we're dealing with. I am the SEO Queen. My company is the SEO Queen. And I just am really excited to help companies dominate their niche online. I was speaking with a client last night going over one of their proposals, and it was really cool to be able to do the research and see how people are looking for their life and legacy online, and the amount of people searching per month is just growing. 30% of businesses have a search engine optimization strategy, which means if you're using SEO, you're ahead of 70% of your competition. And it's just a great way to get free website traffic. If you're ranked number 1 on a keyword phrase, you'll get about between 40 to 45% of the traffic on that key phrase. So if there's 1,000 searches on that term, you're looking at 400 to 450 clicks to your site. So that's pretty powerful.
Okay, so in simple terms, search engine optimization. For those of us not tech savvy at all, what does that mean to us? Search
Search engine
engine.
optimization is just making your website able to come up on Google for terms. Like when you're going to Google and you're searching for information, it's just the way you allow your company to be configured so it comes up for your targeted key phrases.
Wow. So instead of having to pay for these ads, they can come to you. You'll help them take their website and whatever and have these keywords that when they go to Google, people will find you that way.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to get more into what you do so you can teach us a little something. But let's go a little back, do a little backstory about how you got into this. But I want to start like way back. What was it like growing up, Z?
Well, I actually have to go back even further before I was born because,
Oh, okay.
I'm a daddy's girl, and I collaborate and work with my dad a lot, and he revealed to me recently within the last year or so during this pandemic that in when he was growing up, when he was in high school, his mother sat him down and explained to him that she thought it would be beneficial for him to pursue a career in computers. Many years later, I was about 1 years old, sitting on my dad's lap as he graduated from Cal State Dominguez Hills with a bachelor's degree in computer science, where he graduated with honors after teachers told him that he wasn't college material. But I mean, my dad is one of the smartest people I know, and he really taught me everything I knew about computers. And so, when he told me to pick up that postcard out of the trash when I was laughing, I was like, MIT, I want to go to Harvard, like MIT. And so he told me to pick that card from MIT out of the trash, and so I applied. I got in, loved it, and the rest is history. So.
Now I know this is your story, but I gotta ask if you know. Maybe you know, you maybe don't. Why did your mom tell him computers?
His mom, I think, the only explanation I really have is based on what I know about my paternal grandmother, is that she was a praying woman, and I have to believe that the spirit just really just guided her to give her that tidbit to her son that has really birthed a legacy. Like, not only have I went into computers, but my mom had almost a 2-decade career as a network administrator, um, with the Bellflower School District and other tech companies. So this affinity to computers is all through my family. So
So that's in your DNA. Then that's just your
yeah.
DNA.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it's to the point where my son, he actually is working on his own website. He's already recorded his audiobook, and he's 7 years old, and
oh
he tells me
wow,
all the time that he wants to build video games, and he loves tech too.
wow, that's wonderful. So tell me now, it's in your DNA. But did you always know it was in your DNA? Because you talked about
No,
you was
I
like
didn't
through the
always know.
MIT in the trash, and you was
I didn't
like, yeah.
always know. I didn't
So
always know.
so then, what was it like then? You growing up, you're meant to be in IT. You don't know you're meant to be in IT. Father's in IT, mama's in IT. What was those conversations, or those dinner conversations like?
Well, when I was in grade school, fourth grade through 12th, I was really, really focused on going to a elite college. I really had my eye on Harvard. I didn't think about Princeton, but I really was focused on Harvard, Yale, Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCI, UCLA, just the really top tier schools. And I wanted to be an attorney. But when I got to college and I started, seeing what type of people I would have to deal with, I was not ready for all of that. So I decided I want to deal with more computers.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Just being honest.
I know I love it, but listen, every time I talk to folks, I got 50 million questions, and I'll be having to ask these questions because I'm like, if I had these questions, they probably had these questions. But why an elite school?
Well, I saw this movie, Soul Man. It's like a real old 80s movie.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Are you
if you.
talking about the one with the when the white guy had the black
Yeah,
face and went to the
yeah.
black college? Okay.
Yeah. He went to Harvard on the scholarship for the black student because his father
Uh-huh.
paid off. And so that what made me kind of want to go to Harvard, that movie. And I don't know why, but when you're young,
Things
The weirdest
influence
things
you.
impact, yeah, the weirdest things impact you. I ended up taking classes at Harvard as a cross registrant, but I never got admitted. So,
Okay, so now we're at MIT, but you wanted to be a lawyer. So did you go to MIT still with different intentions than tech?
well, when I went to MIT, even as a freshman, I still had the intention of going to law school. And what I found, like as I got involved with student government and different things, I found that I really enjoyed politics more than um, uh, courtroom and the whole law client dynamic. So I ended up um, getting my master's in public policy, and I'm actually a city official now. I'm on the Long Beach Redistricting Commission now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so what's the difference between, because to me, again, I don't know nothing. Law's law. So you could have been a lawyer and still did politics and not been in the courtroom. So what is the difference between when you're saying politics versus a lawyer who's working with clients?
Well, I just found that I enjoyed, doing projects, working on computers and building websites and stuff like that. So when I was graduating from MIT, Google was just starting to become a thing. And so over time, I took that knowledge that I, learned on how to build websites and develop databases, and just took it further. My first job outside of college, I was working for Raytheon as uh, a web applications developer. So that's kind of where I went. But I also had gotten admitted into the graduate program, so I worked a year for Raytheon, and then I went to grad school.
So was
So
most of your work then in, even though you said politics, you're doing IT though for government?
no, Raytheon is a defense contractor. So I was in their command communications and control division, and basically, I was in the beginnings of their database that they were building for managing their intellectual property because they own a lot of patents. But I also was building websites for different divisions for different applications, and so basically what happened is, like, when I was younger, I had a lot of different interests, and I'm just now like niching down as I've gotten older.
Okay. So what do you mean? A lot of different interests, but now you're niching down because I don't know. It sounds like you just always been in tech. So tell it, I mean, explain that to me. What you mean by you're niching down?
So in 2005, I also studied with the woman in the red dress from the Yanni recordings because I play violin as well. And so I recorded music. I have a Vivo channel, and so I that's one of the things I love to do. But my biggest focus right now, I would say 100% of my time right now is going towards helping people get more clients and revenue without paying for advertising.
So how did you niche down? How did you make that decision that this is where I need to focus?
I made that decision because, I finally, within the last, I'd say 18 months, 12 months, I got quite a few coaches. And because I was paying my executive coach so much money, why would I pay him money and not take his advice? And he told me, he said, I know you love music and this and the other, but please just do me a favor and just focus on the SEO Queen for a little while longer and get it to where it needs to go. So
Okay.
that's what.
So does that mean that once you get this where you want it to be, you're going to go back to music?
I actually plan on having a gold record at one point, but I still have to build up my team and the standard operating procedures and everything else like that. So eventually I'll go back into the studio. But I mean, if you look at Rihanna, Beyonce, and most musicians I know, even one of my friends who co-wrote the song Atomic Dog, they all have businesses outside of music. So this is a common thing
Who's
in
your
the.
friend?
Oh, my friend David Spradley.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you,
he toured with George Clinton for many, 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 many years and co-wrote Atomic Dog amongst other songs.
yes, we know that song. If y'all don't know that song, y'all should know that song. Oh my God, y'all should know that song.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a very
yeah,
popular song.
yeah. it is.
But
It is a
that's
very popular song.
so okay. We done skipped from
I
what
know we're all over the place.
I think my listeners should know me by now. I'd be like, start here, go there,
I
come
love
back.
it. I love it. I'm keeping up with you.
Great. It's just that I get to having these questions and I just want to know. But okay, so now we're in college though. We've decided because I heard what you said. I don't want to work with clients. How did you know you did not want to work with clients?
Well,
What was happening?
what happened was I just, growing up as I'm a preacher's kid. And when I really started to understand what the entertainment industry has, like I don't know if anybody's seen that TV show Flack. And there's a lot of situations that as an entertainment attorney you'd have to deal with, or even a publicist in the entertainment industry. I just wasn't That wasn't my constitution. Like I wasn't up for all that.
That just wasn't.
It's
But
not my fatigue.
but now you're still working with individuals, right? Or you work for, or
Yeah.
do you?
The ironic part is I'm still working with a lot of entertainers. Like I actually have quite a few producers and artists as clients,
Mhm.
but it's just a whole different dynamic when you're just dealing with the marketing piece. It's just a different dynamic.
I think I can relate because there was a point in time where, and this is crazy, when I look back over my life, I wanted to be a psychologist. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna get my psychology degree, and I'm gonna help people with their problems. But the more people came to me with their problems, I'm
The
like,
less
I
you
don't
like.
think I want to be a psychologist, right?
Right.
But here I am, all these decades later, and I am still helping with people with their problems. It's just in a different manner that I'm helping them. It's, I do the group coaching now instead of the individual thing, and that
Right.
works for me better because I've
Right.
always been the type of person, and somebody probably like, she needs healing, but I don't like to repeat myself. And then when you meet with these people individually, I find myself telling everybody the same thing.
Same thing
Because
over and
whether we like it or
over.
not, we all have similar issues,
Challenges.
just
It's
a
true.
different face. Okay. And so here it is. I'm dealing with this person who has a fear of failure, and this person has a fear of failure, and this person, they all have
Right.
these
Right.
different
Right.
doubts and
Right.
insecurities. Now I gotta tell this 10 times in one day when I could tell it to
One
10
time.
people one time. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that just made more sense to me to fit my personality versus having to do the one-on-one
Right.
type of coaching. All right, so we are not getting away from entertainment. We are not getting away from helping people. We're just doing it in a different arena. But when did you discover, like when you were in college, like, man, I really, really love this? I mean, because you done ignored it all this time, but your family, when did you really say, man, I even like this more than violin? Or
Well,
do you like it more than violin?
I mean, this is kind of my fault. Like when I started playing the violin at 9 years old, when I was in the fourth grade, I kind of was like, I didn't think I could make a living doing it. That's what I thought at that young. And
Mm-hmm.
so it always was a side thing. That's what it always was. But when I went to MIT, I got a degree in music. I was able to study with Elena Rohr and Marcus Thompson, and then after that, I studied with Karen Briggs. And I think in retrospect, if I would have known then what I know now, I might have went harder in the paint on the music. But yeah, I just when you're growing up in a musical family but a technology focused family, you just it's like flipping a coin. What happened. So I really think had I not had gas one day, maybe I would have been more focused on music. But I think though, Tina Turner, she got her biggest hits when she was older. So I mean, it's still not over. I think everything has its time and its season, and you have to do things in decency and in order. And so for me, I just prefer to just really focus on the SEO Queen because it's starting to take on a life of its own, truly.
So I like what you said that Tina, her hits came in her later years, and I don't think people. It's so many of us who like to say, "I'm too old." I'm too old to do this. It's too late.
Hmm.
And when we can look back on some people who are really successful and realize, did you know? Because maybe they don't know. Do you know how old Tina was when she
She was in
finally
her
got
40s.
these hits?
She
Yeah,
was in her
she's in
40s
her
when What's Love Got to Do with It became a worldwide global hit.
right. And so for you all out there that's in your 40s, you got to know it ain't even in your 50s, right? You still got
Yeah,
time to make a
absolutely.
difference or chase your dreams. But now
Yeah.
I heard you mention you have a 7-year-old son,
Yes, I do. He's adorable.
and you just have the one.
I actually have a 18-year-old daughter, which I'm kind of estranged from, but my 7-year-old, he and I are super close.
So you at one point you are doing you're the SEO queen.
Hmm.
We're doing music, but we have a little child. How are you balancing? And do you have a husband to help you
No,
or
I'm not married, but I am happily in a relationship.
Eh,
Happily in a relationship.
can y'all see what some of y'all in the
Shout
audio
out
y'all
to
can't see
the
that, but it's pretty.
right. Yes.
How do you balance it all? Okay, so now we got fiance, we got child. Well, you let go of the violin, but for temporarily, but when you had it, that's a lot going on. How did you balance all of that?
Well, I think for me, it's about just um, spending your time in a effective manner. So I like to plan out my year in blocks and when I'm going to do things.
The year. Help
Yeah,
me. I can
I
I can
plan.
barely plan out the week.
Yeah, so I planned my days, my months, my year. So um, the challenge though becomes as because we doubled our number of clients year over year. So that's been, I've had to grow the team. The team has doubled in size, actually more than doubled in size. Our staff meetings have like a year ago it was about four of us. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's about four of us now. It's about 10 of us now.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so the team has doubled in size. Our client base has doubled. Our revenue has doubled. It's just a lot of great things have been happening. So I just find myself just really leaning on my support system, like my mom and my dad, their great grandparents. Uh, they definitely helped me keep my son focused. Doing first grade on Zoom was definitely a challenge. So we're playing catch up a little bit, but I mean, I think in terms of his mindset, in terms of his awareness of the business world and entrepreneurship, he's definitely ahead of the curve. But
Mhm.
just getting him caught up on some of those fundamentals, that's what we're working on now. But and he's also learning Spanish, so um, he's bilingual. So um, just balancing it just requires communication, planning, really being intentional and mindful about how I spend my time.
So you
And
mentioned
then
you
I
had
work
a
work fast. When I do work, I work fast and I delegate.
so do you would you say that because you have a team that's made it easier for you to free up time to be able to balance everything?
Hmm.
O-
Yeah, I
Okay.
would I would definitely say that. Yeah, my team is. I actually went on a week vacation 2 weeks ago, and my team was running my social media, sending out my emails. The only thing I didn't do was a sales appointment, so I just blacked out my calendar. But I mean, they literally like held it down for me, and I feel really grateful. I just feel so grateful.
So I want everybody to pay attention to the fact that this is what it means to be a business owner. Okay. When you can take a vacation and you got people running it, you can sleep in late on your vacation because you got people running it. That, my dear, is a business owner. So we are all striving as entrepreneurs. You should be striving to become a business owner, so that you would be able to have that flexibility to still be able to control your time because you have the help. I think sometimes we don't want to get the help. We don't trust. And as entrepreneurs, we have to start learning to trust people to help you, that you're
Right.
not the only one that can do it. And so now they can see
It's
why it's important.
can I elaborate on that?
Uh huh.
I think when I went and got, like, I think it some people may think I'm crazy because I went and got one about I got 4 coaches. Well, actually, maybe I got 5. I think I got 5 coaches simultaneously to help me with different aspects of my business. And once I did that and really started applying everything, it's like my business has, and it just, I mean, there's a lot about business that I learned, as a student at MIT. But the Sloan School's is they're focused on raising executives for Fortune 500 companies who are running organizations that have people who are siloed into certain tasks. It doesn't teach you how to wear multiple hats and grow an organization. I mean, there is a Center for Entrepreneurship, but I didn't take any entrepreneurial classes because I assumed that, once I got, out of MIT and proved myself and worked hard, that they would see me and say, "Oh, we want to hire you." But the reality was, when I was working for other agencies before I started my own, um, a white male with a high school education became my boss. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, at that point, I realized that for me to have the life that I want is not going to happen working for other people. So I needed to have my own company,
How did that make you feel?
some type of a way. And, I
Was it
think,
a struggle to
well,
be in that position?
I really felt, frustrated and disrespected. And, once I got past the shame, because, the first agency I worked for before the high school white boys situation. First agency I worked for after I got my master's degree, I grew the agency from like nothing to $500,000 in recurring revenue, just my book. And I was on food stamps at the time, and I was like really frustrated. And when I go back and I look at the emails from the owner of the company and just everything, it was like the blind leading the blind. And so I was like, because during that time I went and got a business coach. And so that's why my performance just kept on going up, 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 up. But when my compensation didn't match, I quit and replaced my income in less than 4 months with my new agents, the first agency I started. And so, after I got pregnant with my son, I ended up moving from Michigan to California and working for a second agency. And that was when I ended up, the owner decided to hire this white boy who talked good with just a high school education, who bragged about how he learned SEO on blogs, to be my boss. And it was then I decided I wasn't going to do this again. And so when I had the opportunity and the funds to hire coaches to basically, address all of my blind spots, I did it because I'm really really passionate about entrepreneurship, about Black entrepreneurship. As a Black woman, I get up every morning and I don't have to deal with microaggressions. I don't have to deal with just the whole dynamic that comes with race in corporate America. And people who work with me want to work with me. My team is awesome. So I'm just happy. I'm grateful.
So what are the 5 coaches that you hired?
I got into the Data 360 Accelerator program. I signed up with Brent Weaver at
Hold on.
UGuru.
What's the data
Data
360 program?
360. Marie Smith, she is a tech genius when it comes to artificial intelligence and other things. She really helped me to get clear about my avatar. Did a lot of work around my avatar, and also understanding business processes and putting that into place and building up my company's library and standard operating procedures. Brent Weaver, also from You
Oh,
Gurus.
hold on. I'm sorry. I want to make sure everyone knows that an avatar is the picture of your target audience, the people that she wants to work with. So as a SEO queen, you're looking for a particular type of person
Mhm.
that you want to work with that needs your services. So before
Right.
you do that, you create what we call an avatar. I just want to make sure everybody follows that might be listening, not sure. So then your second coach was who? And they
Um,
helped you with what?
Brent Weaver helped me also with my avatar and niching down, and
Mm-hmm.
also just big proposals, like just being comfortable going after, $30,000, $100,000, $200,000 projects. So that was actually his proposal format helped me to get my client. I've had Teddy Riley as a client for many many years, and his proposal format was played a role in that. Um,
So you said he helped you to do proposals and be
right.
confident in getting these large contracts. So was it not a thought that you can do this, or you just wasn't, you knew it could happen, you just weren't confident that you could do it?
Well, it was just about thinking about, this is the thing, like, when I started my company, I took a lot of things that I take, well, I wouldn't say I take it now, but I took a lot of the value that I brought to my clients for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And so Brent helped me to really tease out all the little aspects, the training, the tech support, the different integrations, like when you're building a website, like what does that all entail? And just thinking about that in a different way. And so that's what he really helped me with.
Okay. Okay. And so then your third one, who was that and what they
Um,
do?
Marquel Russell at Client Attraction University. And
Shout
that,
out to Markwell.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're both in CAU. And so, what I get out of CAU is just super mega awesome. I mean, CAU has given me
Mm-hmm.
the time and the mental space to pivot how I delegate tasks to my team. And so now we're actually, instead of me being so focused on client acquisition, we're actually building out the SEO Queen website in such a manner where we're drawing in even more and more and more organic leads. So um, I don't have the cobbler's shoe scenario anymore, where
So
our SEO is neglected. It's not neglected. We're working on it constantly because we have a steady stream of leads coming through Facebook ads.
okay, so you do run Facebook ads though, even though you teach people how to organically get clients without them.
Absolutely.
And so why does the SEO queen run ads?
We run ads because, and keep in mind, since I was in CAU, turned off my ads for about 4 or 5 months and still was closing business from those ads.
Okay.
And the reason why we run the ads is because it's more of a branding exercise. It definitely helps to expedite the funnel. When I started out my company in 2017, doing, terms around SEO are very competitive. And so uh, we really leaned on networking and strategic partnerships to get more clients. So as we've expanded our capacity, we've been able to do more SEO for ourselves. So
Gotcha. So who's
mhm.
the fourth coach?
The fourth coach is Mr. Benny Randall, the owner and CEO of the Bashani Radio Network.
And he's helped you do what with your
He's
business?
my executive coach, and he's like my, as an entrepreneur, sometimes it is hard to have a safe space where you can really be vulnerable, and he is that safe space for me. He is the person that I can say, this isn't working. I can be really transparent, and I really trust him. And he's been very helpful, extremely helpful,
And the
extremely
last one.
extremely helpful. Ty Lopez. I'm in Ty Lopez's coaching programs, and so I've been going through 67 steps, and it's been great for mindset and just everything. I think Ty Lopez is the bomb. So
I don't know Ty Lopez, but I guess I need to look him up. What's
Ty Lopez is
60?
just like, whew.
You said 67 steps to,
It's just a program called 67 Steps.
and the program does what for you?
Teaches you how to be successful in business and in life.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Now, I have to ask because it sounds to me like your life has been great though. Like we grew up, we went, we were headed to college, we went to MIT. It's already in your DNA to do tech, even though you wanted to be a lawyer, but then you changed your mind, you did the tech. So it sounds to me like, and maybe it's just me, you have a great mindset. You got a good head on your shoulders. So why would someone like yourself need a mindset coach? Why is
Well,
that valuable to you?
when I graduated from MIT, it was my expectation that um, people I would be celebrated and not tolerated. And when that didn't happen, I had some cognitive dissonance. And when that spilled into my personal life, because I was married to a white male that I had met when I was an undergrad at MIT. And after I gave birth to my daughter, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression, and that gave birth to a bunch of situations and circumstances that made me lose my confidence. And I struggled with having a healthy mindset. But I think, when I really uh, understood the importance of reading again. I was always an avid reader, but for a while I kind of fell off. I think Marquell really, his book recommendations, Psycho-Cybernetics, really helped me to get a better perspective. And as a business owner, you're dealing with a lot of different challenges. I'm dealing with a lot of different challenges. I don't know about other business owners, but I have. And you want certain things, and so there's always competing dynamics, and you have to be able to make good decisions. So yeah, I think the biggest challenge mindset wise for me is just not letting other people's view of me discourage me and keep me just like standing still. So
So can we talk about postpartum a little bit?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that
i'm
is
actually
something.
I'm actually writing a book. I don't know when it's going to come out, but the website is up. It's called Black Brilliant and Maybe Bipolar.com. And you can sign up to be on the email list. So when the book drops, you'll get an email about it. But in that book, I write about what it was like being diagnosed with postpartum depression and then bipolar, and then all the challenges that came out of that.
Well, without giving away too much of the book, because we want them to go buy the book, but
Right.
can you just give us a little bit about what was it like for you to have postpartum depression? What did that look like, and how did that impact your family dynamics at the time? And I don't know, was your child with your husband at the time?
Well, he and I were married at the time when I was diagnosed. And one of the problems that I had with him was he would talk about my mental health status to like just random people. And I had a problem with that. So, my mental health journey has been, just putting that diagnosis or that label in the proper perspective and not letting it hinder who I see myself being and becoming.
So what's the proper perspective? Because what was it that he was saying or doing, or saying to other people, that was bothering you, that you felt like, I'm not going to let you all label me? What was going on?
Well, I'm you're gonna have to get the book to get
Okay. Oh,
all.
is that giving away too much of the book? We don't want to give away the
I
book.
will say,
Give
I
us a
will
little
say,
teaser.
I will say, if it were a movie, you'd be on the edge of your seat because I was put into some really shocking situations that I mean, even now I think about it and I'm like, wow.
Give us one. Just give us one. What is one shocking situation? And why was it shocking?
It was shocking because it's like, you know, I'll tell this one. So in January of 2006, I had went to the post office late at night. This is in Redford Township, Michigan, right outside of Detroit. And I had to mail something for my sorority because when I was in grad school, I pledged Sigma Gamma Rho. So I went to the post office. It was kind of cold, so I had on my Gap green down coat, which was super cute, and I really love that coat. And I hopped in the truck, drove over to the post office, came back, and as I was walking into my house that night, I saw this car coming down the street with their headlights on. And I was like, I was pointing to the lights. I was like, your headlights are out. And so my husband was at the time was in the basement of the house playing video games. And here I am face down on the concrete with four masked thieves with sawed-off shotguns
Oh,
telling me to give them my stuff. But luckily for me, I didn't bring them a purse or anything like that. So all they got were a driver's license and my keys and my jacket. So that's all they got.
and then we got to read the book to hear the rest.
Yeah.
We got
There's
y'all. What's the name of the book? What's the name
black,
of the book? Because we've got to get the book.
black, brilliant, and maybe bipolar.
Okay. And where can they get this book? Because you said you had a website up.
Yeah, it's black, brilliant, and maybe bipolar.com. You can sign up for the email list so when it comes out, you can be notified about it.
All right, because now you got me. I want to know. Whew, Jesus, we're gonna have to get the book, y'all. We're gonna have to get the
You
book
want to know what happened?
so we can know what happened. All
Yeah.
right, so you've dealt with postpartum, and you were diagnosed with bipolar. How
Mhm.
did you be? How did you get through that to become this SOE queen who's a business owner with employees and a son and a thriving relationship where we're about to get married? How do we go from dealing with uh, all of that to becoming who you are now? Because you had coaches, but did you have coaches during that time?
Well, um, before I met the love of my life, I was dating this guy, and I found out that he was cheating on me with not one but two other women, and I found out on Facebook because they inboxed me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was devastated, and it was at that time that I met my soul coach, Dr. Janine Staples, and she is the one. She wrote this book called The Revelations of Asher. I bought the book. I went into her breakthrough school group coaching program, And it was there that I understood why I felt the way I felt.
How did you feel?
I felt just, I wasn't listening to my intuition. I wasn't, at that time, I really didn't have firm and sure boundaries. I was just, I really didn't have a proper view of myself. I grew up in the church, and I grew up, reading the Bible, but there was a lot of things about how we are. It's like we are a spirit, we steward a soul, we live in a soma, and just understanding that when you get that feeling in your gut, what does that mean? It's not just
Mm-hmm.
gas. It's not something that you just take for granted. Because up until that
Right.
point, I had really just went, you know, making decisions through life just mentally, not taking into account my spirit and other things. So we are spiritual beings. People say, "Oh, it's woo woo." No, it really isn't. I mean, we really are. Uh, we have a life force that is independent from our physical body, and the way our life force interacts with our physical body is something that I did not understand at that time. And I think getting clarification on that, I was able to really self reflect. And now I cut out, I'm just so much more peaceful and cut out drama before, I nip it in the bud now, because everybody's tolerance for different things is different. And
So
just
like
understanding myself has been critical to being
so
happy.
so that means you were tolerating things before in this previous relationship where there was cheating that you're just not tolerating anymore, or did
Right. So
discovering yourself help you really determine what you will put up with, what you don't put up with, and that's made for you to have a better relationship now?
absolutely. Like I think, the guy that had cheated, excuse me, he would like disappear on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be around. And so, just being brave enough to be clear about what I want for me, that was something that was hard. It was hard for me to say, "Oh, I deserve this. I deserve being able to say I deserve a man that sends me hello beautiful text every morning."
So how did you how do I want to say this? What made you not think you deserved it? What made you tolerate the behavior? And I just ask because I've been there. I've been there where you are in a relationship with cheating, and I stayed longer than I should have stayed. And when I had finally gotten out of that relationship, when I look back on it, why did I stay? Why did I put up with the things that I put up with? Why was I so forgiving? I had to look back on the things that I seen
Mhm.
growing up, the relationships that I seen, and what they put up with, just the conversations that I heard. Like, it's kind of like unconsciously
Yeah.
I was trained to forgive, forgive, forgive. Because again, you go to church, you're supposed to forgive. You're supposed to
Yeah.
forgive 70 times 7 in a day. That's what they teach you, right? And so this person has
Right.
made a mistake, you forgive them. But then I also saw where it was more than just forgiveness, it was just really tolerance. And to the point where, I'm like, I don't, well, really, I would say it was me having a daughter
Right.
that made me wake up and say, I'm
Mhm.
not going to tolerate this, because I
Right.
kept
Right.
thinking, like, while I might put myself through it, I don't want to put her through that. And then she grow up
Mhm.
and do the same thing and put up with the same things I put up with. I want something better for her. So where do you think that
Right.
that came from for you, that you're in this relationship, you there's some cheating going on, there's some not coming home. Mine's was coming home, but we're not coming home till like 2, 3 in the morning, right? Where did that come from, that you didn't realize that you deserve better, that you put up with that?
Yeah, I think for me it was fear. A lot of it was fear. Fear of just not wanting to be alone, or fear of just a lot of, I made a lot of fear-driven decisions when I was younger, and it took me a while to just be okay with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to not feel like I had to have this relationship or this thing, or because when you're growing up in just America, just as a black person, because not all these beliefs were ones that my parents taught me. So it's just that society influence, and just being able to recognize that influence and say, okay, this is what I really want for myself, and being okay with not being on the same page of people around me. It took me a while to get to that point.
I like that you made that point though, because I was thinking, wondering, well, is it something that your parents did? Is it something that they didn't do? But sometimes the things or the way we believe or how we grow up, we could
Hmm.
have had the best of parents that who did their very best to teach us the things they need to teach us. But there's what you said, society. You
Hmm.
know, there's still a society, there's still your neighborhood that you grew up in, there's still the school
Right.
district that you went to, there's still the
Exactly.
college that you went to, and there's the
Right.
jobs that you've had, and all of those things are still influencing you just as much as TV and
Hmm.
music as
Right.
to who you are becoming, that you now
Yeah.
have to unbecome so that you can be who you are today. And
Hmm.
so there's no blaming parents. We can't always blame our parents on the things that we how we turned out, because sometimes we're just hard headed. We don't listen.
Right.
But you realize that just life experiences and the things you've seen and done had created some fears in you that weren't instilled in you,
Right.
that you had to overcome. But we've overcome. We have overcome, and so we are now the SEO queen. Tell
Yeah.
the people that really what you'll do for them, because I don't know if we were clear. We're going to get clients and increase our revenue
Hmm.
without those Facebook ads. When
Right.
they come to you, what are you going to do for them?
So just think about a faucet. Think about a faucet, and think about your website is the cup. And so you can uh you see this faucet. This faucet has 2 trillion plus searches happening on it. That's Google, the faucet. And this is your website. And so we want to move your cup into the faucet so it fills up with that traffic. And so that's basically what we do through the power of search engine optimization, and also conversion optimization on your website as well. So when we work on client campaigns, we take a very unique approach to search engine optimization. Not only do we want to identify your keywords, but we also want to identify the best way to present you to major media outlets, because there's two parts to SEO. There's the on page and the off page. And so with the off page comes your social media and also your digital PR. So we want to make sure that the highest traffic websites in the world, you have a presence or a link on there, because the more links you have to your site, the higher up in search results you will be. And so with the optimization part, so we have your identification phase. That's the first phase. We're going to identify the best platforms to put you on. We're also going to identify your best keywords. And then we also want to optimize your website. We want to make sure that your title tags, all your meta tags, all your content is conducive to not only ranking on Google, but also converting and generating those leads. And so once we identify and optimize, then we want to amplify. That's where we bring in our strategic partners to get you into different magazines, different platforms, in order for you to get the visibility that you desire. So that's what we do. So our clients have been featured on Your Web, Black Enterprise, and a ton of other platforms as well.
So do you make the websites to them, or do they already have to have a website and you just help them optimize it?
It depends. So some of our clients come to us with websites. Some of our clients want us to re-platform their website or redesign it. So it just depends. Some people already have a website, so all we have to do is SEO. So depending on wherever you are at, we can meet you there, because we do as I had mentioned before, my first job out of college was building web applications. I built my first website in 1996.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you talked about the website conversions though. So when you help them with their website, you help them with the wording and the things to get people to actually convert to leads.
Correct.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
then you mentioned platforms, helping them pick the platform. What do you mean by helping them pick the platform? Are you talking about the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, those types of things?
Well, yeah, but when you talk about content management systems for websites, I'm talking about Squarespace, Wix,
Okay.
Shopify, Webflow,
Which is going to
WordPress.
be the best web platform for them.
Right, right.
Gotcha. All right.
Uh-huh.
So tell the people where they can find you so that they can get their websites and their search optimizations and all that intact.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at the SEO Queen, TheSeoQueen. You can text me directly at 562-378-4054. You can text me again at 562-378-4054. And if you want to see the entirety of the company, you can always go to SEOQueen.com and connect with us there.
Y'all, and don't forget the book. Tell them again the website for the book, because we got to find out what happened with these face down on the ground. Okay.
Black, Brilliant, and Maybe Bipolar.com.
Yes. All right. I always like to close out with my guest telling us what would today's Z, what has she learned? What golden nugget would she now reach back and tell 16-year-old Z?
Ooh. I would tell 16-year-old Z to trust your intuition. Trust your intuition more. That's what I would say. Because more often than not, it's right. And you'll be happy.
And I have to agree. I have to agree with that. You got women, we got to start trusting our intuition. All right. So I thank you so much for joining us today. This has been wonderful. We've learned some things and about the tech and search engines and how all that works. And so thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
All right. To close this out, you always know that where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. You defined you. So let's go out there and heal, transform, and pursue you.